When the wealthy businessman from Qatar paid $150,000 to Okacha Partners firm in Kenya to help with the release of his $15 million loan, Juma informed him that Mr. Malik from the US would be contacting him with a solution on how to get the $15 million into his bank account. Hushpuppi, now playing Mr. Malik, a Wells Fargo bank director, was ready for his act. Abbas had to ensure all bases were covered, and this is where Vincent came in. A techie fellow from New York State, Vincent had been in the underworld DC gangs for a long time. Vincent created a fake bank website and integrated an automated phone line that would be used to make the scam credible. It had been a great 2019, and 2020 was looking even better. Ramon Abbas, also known as Hushpuppi or the Billionaire Gucci Master, was oozing opulence. The 36-year-old Nigerian Instagram influencer had just received a rose gold and titanium Richard Mille 1103 watch valued at $230,000. With the new watch raising his status in the world of Instagram influencers, Hushpuppi couldn't wait to show it to the world. He purchased yellow straps for it at the Dubai Mall for $550 and took a picture. As he stared in the neon-lit Burj Khalifa at night, Hushpuppi could not imagine how fast his life had changed. In just a couple of years, he had risen from a nobody in the streets of Lagos to one of the top influencers of luxury brands such as Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Fendi, Chanel, Versace, and many more. The brands loved and rewarded Hushpuppi, but his ambitions were far much greater. For the moment, the money came easy, thanks to the well-oiled coffers of the wealthy Qatari businessman that he, together with Abdul Rahman Imran Juma from Kenya, had been scamming. The whole team was ecstatic. As 2020 ushered in, people all over the world were making New Year resolutions to be better individuals. But for Abbas and his conglomerate, the insatiable greed for easy money only got larger. The scam play had to go wrong. On 8th January 2020, Vincent Chibuzo, also known as Kelly, sent Abbas an email with details of fake online assets that they will need to further perpetrate their scam. This time, the IT master had designed a fictitious online telephone banking system. The system worked in a simple way, but to a technological and savvy person, it looked legitimate. This was a fake banking automated telephone number which when called will report a monetary balance in an account that did not exist. This is the number that Abbas will give the Qatari businessman. When the businessman will call, the automatic telephone system will indicate that his account had been funded with the funds promised by Abbas or Mr. Malik from Wells Fargo. The system was tested and it worked flawlessly. With the system in place, Abbas texted Juma about it. He also wanted the two of them to discuss how much money they should extort from the Qatari businessman. This time, the two were going for a big score. This would be the one final score that will set the team up financially for life. After a brief discussion, the two fraudsters decided they will ask the Qatari businessman to send $575,000 initially and $250,000 afterwards. and Vincent was there to make it happen. Vincent told Abbas to download a smartphone app known as Text Me. This is the app that the team will use to swindle the Qatari investor. Vincent also asked Abbas for the name and account number of the Wells Fargo bank account that was opened by a different accomplice at Kanoga Park. Abbas provided the details as well as his Text Me phone number +134 7769 1770. The only thing remaining was to contact the Qatari businessman and to request him to make the payment of $575,000. Satisfied with how the new system was working, Abbas sent Juma a message with a new telephone banking number. He asked him to call the number just to test it. Juma called the number, and as expected, the number provided bank account details with non-existent money. This system is what will be used to convince the Qatari businessman to continue dishing money to the gang. Abbas now switched to his role as Mr. Malik from Wells Fargo. He sent the telephone banking information to the wealthy Qatari businessman and told him to call the phone number to confirm that the $15 million loan he had requested was available in the Kanoga Park Wells Fargo account. Abbas ended the text by telling the businessman that he was working on getting him online access to the funds. The fraudulent system was carefully designed and worked flawlessly. When the Qatari businessman called the phone number, he got a message that his Wells Fargo account had been funded with $15 million. Happy with the progress, the businessman texted Abbas. He then asked whether he could transfer the funds to Qatar, and Abbas confirmed that he could. The businessman thanked him again through text. The fake telephone banking system was just a stepping stone to rope in the Qatari businessman to the web of online deceit of Abbas and his gang. After the conversation with the businessman, Abbas shared screenshots of what they had talked about with Vincent and Juma on WhatsApp. He then instructed Juma to contact and congratulate the businessman on the approval of his $15 million loan. Call the businessman with congratulations too now, please. Juma then responded to Abbas with an audio message. A transcription of the message read, Abbas asked Juma, "Are you proud of me or no?" Juma was happy and he responded in part, "It's a perfect job, bro." Back to the basement, together with another accomplice, Vincent was creating a fake Wells Fargo banking website that the team will use to trick the Qatari businessman. He sent Abbas a photograph of the fake website, which looked legitimate. Abbas would provide the website to the victim later that evening. And to make things even easier, Vincent came up with a storyline that Abbas will tell the businessman to convince him to send a payment of $575,000. The storyline was cut out straight from our Wikipedia webpage discussing US state and resident withholding tax. Vincent wanted Abbas to trick the businessman to pay more than $500,000 as withholding tax for the loan for being an non-US resident. Abbas nodded and smiled in triumph. The story was convincing. There is no way that the businessman could know he was being scammed. This was going to be the biggest fraud that Abbas and his team will perpetrate against the wealthy Qatari investor. The systems were in place. The storyline was tight. The bank accounts that could be used to transfer the funds that the businessman would send had already been identified. Later that evening, Abbas sent the investor the photograph that Vincent had sent. He told the investor that he will need to pay a tax of $575,000 for the loan to be cleared. The investor was shocked by the amount. He texted back and told Abbas that the tax was too much. This was the first hurdle that Hushpuppi encountered in this scheme. He shared the conversation he had had with the investor with both Juma and Vincent. The three crooked fraudsters had to find a way to pass this obstacle. The next day, the Qatari businessman contacted Juma and told him he wanted to find a way of getting the $15 million loan without paying a lot of taxes. He also shared the conversation he had had with Mr. Malik, also known as Abbas, the previous day about the $575,000 tax payment. Meanwhile, Vincent was getting uneasy. He had worked very hard to put the fake automatic banking telephone system, which was crucial in convincing the Qatari businessman to trust Juma and Mr. Malik. Moreover, he had recently finished putting up a fake Wells Fargo Bank website, which was an integral asset in the whole scam operation, but Abbas was delaying with paying him. Vincent contacted Abbas about his payment, and Abbas brushed him off. At that moment, getting the Qatari businessman to pay the $575,000 withholding tax was the center of the operations. On 10th January 2020, Juma contacted Abbas and the two of them discussed about reducing the tax charges on the investor's $15 million loan. The two came up with a plan. Juma will tell the investor that the owners of the loan will help in clearing part of the taxes. The next day, Fashola contacted Abbas to discuss about finding additional bank accounts that could be used to receive the additional payments from the Qatari businessman. Moving more than $500,000 to a few accounts with little history of receiving large sums of money could prove problematic. Hushpuppi was not going to let this deal go under. He encouraged Fashola to work quickly and get the necessary bank accounts. Every team member had a role to play, and nothing would be allowed to derail the whole operation. But when easy money flows in, the appetite for it surges, and at such times, gang members usually start getting ideas which can make them toe out of line. The streets talk. In the world of Yahoo boys and gold scammers, information provided in harsh tones filters through cracks and finds its way on social media and the gossip blogs. On January 13th, 2020, the Qatari businessman contacted Juma and told him about a person who had contacted him regarding the loan. He wrote, unknown to him, the person that he was referring to was Vincent. Unhappy with the small cut he was getting from Hushpuppi, Vincent had decided to contact the business person on his own in an attempt to get payments sent directly to him. Vincent got in touch with the businessman using the US phone number +130 5440 5586. This is also the same number that he had used to send Abbas information about the fake Wells Fargo website. The businessman provided a screenshot and forwarded additional conversations between him and Vincent. In the messages, Vincent had sent the businessman's passport to show that he's an insider and knows about his loan. He also claimed that Abbas and Juma were scammers and that he was only trying to help the business person. There is no honor among thieves. Vincent had just tried to disrupt the whole operation. During the conversation with the Qatari businessman, Juma remained calm. He also promised to look into the matter. After the conversation, Juma got in touch with Abbas and forwarded him the messages that the businessman had sent him. When Abbas found out that Vincent had contacted the Qatari businessman and tried to expose him and Juma as scammers, he was furious. His heart was beating fast as he paced up and down his luxurious condo in Dubai. Why would Vincent want to jeopardize the whole operation? His own operation? Didn't he know that he was the billionaire Gucci Master? Perhaps he had been too soft on the team members and overly generous. This time, he had to stamp his authority. He will have to use Vincent as an example to ensure that the rest of the team members toe the line. Abbas called Juma, and the two fraudsters discussed what to do with Vincent for trying to disrupt their operations. Hushpuppi had anticipated the inside betrayal, and he had a way to deal with it. It was time for a new player on the team. It was time for Abba Alhaji Kyari, the Nigerian Deputy Police Commissioner, to play his role. Kyari was styled a super cop by many Nigerians and had received multiple honors for his effectiveness and gallantry as a law enforcement officer. This member of Hushpuppi's gang had the persona of an uber-competent professional police officer and had helped solve several complicated criminal cases across Nigeria. It is this image that earned him awards and recognitions and placed him in some of the most powerful places across the country. In 2018, Silverbird Communications recognized DCP Kyari as the Hero of the Year.
Ordinarily, people might not recognize. So I thank you and urge you to continue in that direction. That's what we need in this country.
In the same year, the police officer had been honored by Nigeria's First Lady, Aisha Buhari, and received a gilded plaque which read, "In appreciation and recognition of his gallantry and diligent role in curbing crime in Nigeria." The award was presented to him at Eso Rock, where Kyari was hailed for his role in solving some of the biggest cases in the nation. After ending his call with Juma, Abbas contacted Kyari and discussed with him the possibility of arresting Vincent. The discussion with Kyari was tense, but when it comes to money, even some of the most decorated law enforcers can be compromised. Abbas' request was simple: put Vincent in custody and I will pay you a handsome fee. The discussion on payments will be revisited a few days later, but for now, Kyari and his team had work to do. As Abbas left Kyari to track and arrest Vincent Chibuzo, he had to make sure that there were enough bank accounts at his disposal ready to receive the funds from the Qatari businessman. The next day, Abbas texted Fashola to find out whether she had been successful in getting some more bank accounts. Fashola had succeeded in getting one new bank account, but this was not going to be enough. Abbas emailed another accomplice who sent him the bank account details of a different accomplice that could be used to receive the money. This was a critical stage of the scheme, and any bank account that could be used was appreciated. Agbabiaka pledged to help with the team with the bank accounts issue. She told Abbas that he could use her bank account at Capital One to receive a second wire transfer of $100,000. With 3 bank accounts confirmed for use for the scam, Abbas got in touch with Juma in Nairobi. He emailed him the account information of the Capital One bank account and the other bank account that was provided by a different accomplice. Things were moving as planned. Payday was on the horizon, and this time, Abbas won't let Vincent derail his plans. To ensure the scheme went through successfully, Vincent had to be taken out of the picture. But first, a little update for the gram. On January 13th, 2020, Abbas posted a photograph on Instagram wearing the Richard Mille watch with the hashtag RM1103. On 15th January 2020, Abbas contacted Kyari. It was time for some action. Vincent had to be kept behind bars for this scam to go through successfully. For the trouble, Abbas proposed that he will pay Kyari and his team of officers to arrest Vincent. The next day, Abbas texted Vincent to reprimand him for his betrayal. Abbas wrote, Vincent felt afraid and remorseful. He contacted Abbas, attempting to reason with him. On January 18th, 2020, Vincent reminded Abbas of the assistance that he had provided in the scheme to defraud the Qatari businessman. He was the one who had created the power of attorney documents, devised the story to tell the victim, created the telephone banking number, as well as created the fake Wells Fargo website. But Abbas will hear none of it. You don't attempt to steal from the billionaire Gucci Master and get away with it. Later in the evening, the top cop in Nigeria's police service and his rogue elite team had the job done. They had arrested Vincent and put him in custody. Kyari sent a WhatsApp message to Abbas saying, "We have arrested the guy. He is in my cell now. This is his picture after we arrested him today." Abbas replied, "Yes, that is him, sir. Perfecto, just perfect. I want him to go through a serious beating of his life," Abbas texted back elatedly. He also asked Kyari to keep Vincent in custody for at least a month so that the fraud scheme could be successfully executed and the money could be obtained. Kyari inquired what Vincent had done before he could decide what to do with him. Abbas got emotional and sent a WhatsApp voice message to Kyari explaining how Vincent had attempted to disrupt his scheme and steal the wealthy Qatari businessman from him. A transcription of the voice note read, After the voice call, Abbas finished with the text, "Please sir, I want to spend money to send this boy to jail. Let him go for a very long time." He also sent Kyari screenshots that Juma had sent to him of Vincent communicating with the Qatari businessman. When Vincent was in custody, he called his girlfriend for help. His girlfriend messaged Abbas trying to seek help for his release. She wanted to raise 1 million naira for the release of Vincent. Abbas promised to contribute 100,000 naira towards the release. However, he also contacted Kyari and asked him not to allow Vincent's girlfriend to pay money to get him out of custody, as would have been done for a normal arrest. Abbas wanted Vincent to stay in custody for about a month, until Tuesday 25th, 2020, when the fraud scheme would have been completed. He also requested Kyari not to give Vincent his mobile phone as well as his laptop on his release. Kyari accepted the request. Abbas then requested Kyari for details on how he can send payment to him and his team for arresting Vincent and keeping him in jail. He wrote, "To make sure that nothing links the two of them together, Kyari proposed that the money should be sent to 2 different bank accounts that were not under his name. The payment for arresting Vincent was $20,600. Hushpuppi sent the money through a bank account held by one of his accomplices at GT Bank and another one at Zenith Bank. This was not going to be the only time that Abbas will arrange payments with Kyari. A lot of work had been done in the first 2 weeks of 2020. Hushpuppi had just applied for citizenship and a passport of St. Kitts and Nevis for $50,000. He had also bought a rose gold and titanium Richard Mille 1103 watch that cost over $230,000. And finally, he had taken out a team member that had threatened to disrupt his operations. Now the score of a lifetime was simmering on the horizon. In just a few days, the billionaire Gucci Master, together with the smooth-talking Abdul Rahman Imran Juma from Kenya, would set the wheels in motion to defraud the wealthy Qatari businessman of over $575,000.